have to change your vibration. It's that simple. And to change your vibration, you have to do something different. And so something different is uncomfortable. Something familiar is comfortable, but it doesn't change your vibration. And one of the first things you need to do differently is to breathe. And to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth and take your voice back. Take your voice back. Ah. Look at each other. Ah. Now let me give you another tool, because I believe that between now and 8 o'clock we can really change your vibration adequately enough to have a completely different experience. However, I will work with you the way my teachers worked with me. I will work as hard as you. Fair enough? I'll meet you at that point of commitment, okay? So, if you really put 2 feet in and you really try something different for the next 45 minutes, by the time we leave, because of the law of exponentiality, we can start ripples on the lake that will keep going with you, and your vibration will get higher and higher and higher and higher. So you become eventually what is called a 6th sensory. Now let me tell you the difference between a 5 sensory and a 6 sensory, because right now there are 2 species on the planet. And they're very different. 2 species of human being. There's the 5 sensory and the 6 sensory. The 5 sensory person lives from the paradigm, the belief system, the understanding that I am ego. I am my personality. I am my body. I am my story. I am my history. I am all the embodiments of my emotions. And that whole constellation makes up ego. And when you work from the ego, you look at life and you interact with others role to role. It's sort of like bum cars. Boom, 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 boom. Hi, what do you do? Boom, 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 boom. And when you work from the ego, quite simply, the ego is always fearful. It will never be loved enough. It will never be secure enough. It will never be approved of enough. It will never be comfortable enough to let its guard down. So, it spends all its energy protecting itself. And the way the ego interfaces the world, the way you interface as a 5 sensory is me against you. And you scare me. So you spend all your energy controlling and managing and keeping energy out here. You know what I'm talking about. It leaves not a whole lot of energy to do what you're here to do, to fulfill your soul purpose. But there is another frequency, there is another paradigm. Which means, by the way, simply belief system or understanding. The paradigm that's trying to burst through is the 6th sense that understands we are spirit. We are spirit. And we are having a physical, creative experience. And we have tools that we use for the spirit to use. One is the physical body. This is our suitcase. We have our personality. We have our ego, which from a spirit level we understand to be our pet, our companion. But we are here as spirit. And so when we interface the world, it's not me against you. It's not role to role. When you work from spirit, you know there's only one spirit, just like there's only one fire. So when you connect with others, you connect soul to soul. It's me and you. How are we alike? And most importantly, what are we here to create? Life becomes engaging. You want to participate. You want to get involved. And when you look at people, you don't see other. You see the same. And we here are on a trajectory to stop the me against you. Do you know that in the physical body, me against you is called cancer? And it's no different in the soul body. Me against you, there is a cancer on this planet that can no longer be sustained. And the only way it's going to change is if we move into this new paradigm, this paradigm of the soul. Me and you, we're spirit. And there's not an other spirit. Just like there's a match and a barbecue, and then there's a bonfire. It's all fire. We're all spirit. And yet we contain that spirit in different measure. Some of us have put our fire out. And when you've put your fire out, you've completely lost and disconnected from your soul purpose, because without your fire you can't create. Your soul purpose is quite simply, you're here to create. But without your fire you can't create, because the ego cannot create. Oh, that's not true. It can create one thing: frustration. That's all it can create. That's all. But the spirit can create. So, the more you become spirit embodied, the more effective you become as a creator. The movie that came out and the book that came out last year, The Secret, is part of The Secret. It's not the whole secret, but it's a good beginning. There's a lot more secret, but we have to give you the rest of the pieces. The first piece is only your spirit creates. You are spirit. And if you've locked your spirit out, your life isn't going to be creative at all. It's going to be management of your frustrations. That's about as good as it's going to get for you, period. But when you start bringing the energy in to create from spirit, then all of a sudden life becomes interesting. It becomes engaging. It becomes enthusiastic. Which, by the way, do you know what that word means? Yeah, the gods. It becomes inspired. What does that mean?
In spirit.
In spirit, of course. So we have to begin to start this shift of paradigm, the first soul lesson. And if you get only this lesson, the rest will start coming easy. But without this lesson, you get nothing, which is you are spirit. You aren't your personality. You're spirit. That's all you are. And there have been even some wonderful metaphysicians and alchemists who have played around with this, and they say that your spirit actually weighs 7 ounces. So you're 7 ounces of fire, 7 ounces of spirit, instant weight loss. Isn't that wonderful? You are spirit. And do you know how you can tell? Do you know how you can tell if you're conscious of spirit and if you're channeling spirit? I can tell instantly. I can tell instantly if your spirit is home. There's 2 ways you can tell. The first way you can tell is if there's light in your eyes. That's the first way you can tell. And the second way that you can tell that the spirit is embodied is there's just a teeny little bit of a smile. And yet a 5 sensory, they're like this. They have really tight lips and really tight butts, and they talk like this and say, I'm fine. I'm fine. And you can tell that too. You can tell a 5 sensory in a minute. They're sort of like the Tin Man without the oil. Because fire moves. And the other way you can tell that you're in spirit is, how comfortably do you move? I tell people to get up and move. You should see the dirty looks I get. You have to move. Moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. Because when you're moving and you're flexible, you can be spontaneous, you can be creative, you can respond to life. Rather than, and you know why you can't move? Because the ego is trying to control. Do you like to dance? The spirit